see the ocean. You're drawn to the strength inside the waves. But if you get caught within the ocean, the undertow will let you lose your way. I bet when you reach the ocean, can't wait to sink your toes into the sand. Instead you will sink into the ocean and watch your heart move slowly from your hands. Oh, she's calling, calling. She's calling, calling. She's calling, calling. She's calling. Someday you will reach the desert, held by the warmth within the skies. Breathe in the exhale of the desert and see yourself reflected in her eyes. The moment you reach the desert, you realize she's been singing a song of life and love. She's been singing a song to your lives. You're singing with the desert. You've always known the words to sing along. You have a voice, you have a voice, you have a voice. You're coming home where you belong. She's calling. She's calling. Oh, she's calling. She's calling. She's calling, calling. She's calling, calling, calling.
That was Sage. Their voices together are truly like a silken tapestry. I mean, beautiful blend, like they were always meant to sing together. Sarah Gazarick, Sarah
Yeah.
Gazarick, Aaron Bentledge, Janae Kendrick, and Amanda Taylor make up the now Grammy nominated Sage. Yay! How exciting is that? That you guys, this is your first arrangement, your first song that you guys wrote together as a vocal ensemble, and you've been nominated for a Grammy?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we don't even really have an album out yet. It was the first composition that we wrote, and when we thought we were going on tour in March, and then suddenly weren't, there were all these people that we wanted to share music with, and so we said, well, we just have these videos, and Desert Song felt magical. What if we just put it on Spotify and happened to submit it for consideration, and fast forward a couple months, and it's a pretty good day.
The rest is history. Tell me a little bit about the process for writing this. I'm sure that's kind of challenging when you have 4 people with 4 brains and 4 ideas, and all this musical talent wrapped up into one group. How did you guys channel that into Desert Song?
Ooh, well, so our first time all together in person, we had scheduled a retreat together in the desert in Palm Springs. And so we had all these plans for what we were going to do each of these 5 days. We had plans like, okay, like the first 2 hours we're going to warm up and improvise, and then the next 2 hours we're going to do group arranging, and then the next 2 hours we're going to write a song every day. And then the next and what ended up happening is we just hung out, we had drinks, we were in the pool, we did like sing together and stuff, like we basically had a ball. Didn't actually do too much like official writing except for Desert Song.
Right.
And so this was like our gem to come out of that week.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a whole process.
That sounds like it really was a magical time, and really just the bonding session that you girls needed in order to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
Because we knew of each other and loved and respected each other as professionals and musicians, but we'd never been in the same space together as 4 musicians and women. And so it was really an opportunity to kind of fall in love with each other and realize how kind of like surprising, almost exactly what you just said, Kiana, like how shocking it was and how sort of like serendipitous it felt to finally be in a space where you could realize that these were the collaborators that you had been looking for who knows how long. Yeah. And that we can step into this space where these women can be so strong and empowered and talented and hardworking, and that it can be as fulfilling as anything that we've ever thought we needed.
So Sarah Gazarek, if you don't know already, is a now 2-time Grammy nominated. 3?
2, yeah.
2 times.
Well, okay. The album that I released last year got 2 nominations, but technically one of them was for an arrangement that Jeff Keezer did. So
okay, so this is your 3rd nomination then?
It's my 2nd nomination, but I've been affiliated with 3 nominations.
Oh, I understand now. Okay. Yeah. Well, girl, I wanted to give you another one. So, so 2
okay,
times.
3. Let's roll with 3. We'll roll with 3.
Come on. So 3-time Grammy affiliated artist, and she's also a vocal teacher. Erin is amazing. She's a music educator, guitarist. You also play piano. I saw you playing piano as well. You do a little bit of everything. Nate Kendrick, multi-instrumentalist and award-winning vocalist. Also, you're a vocal coach as well?
I am professor of music at the Cornish College of the Arts. Mm-hmm.
Wow, incredible. And Amanda Taylor, amazing vocal arranger, and you have your own company, correct? Called Wicked Pigeon Music?
Pigeon, yeah, you got it.
So
Absolutely.
tell me a little bit about Wicked Pigeon. I find this really interesting. You actually contract your services to do vocal arrangements for other groups?
Yeah, custom vocal arrangements, mostly for scholastic groups, usually high school and college, either vocal jazz groups or a cappella groups. Just constantly trying to bring new, fresh music to Pacific Northwest vocal jazz literature, and just trying to give high school students and college students some music that they can really connect to and have a lot of fun singing and just feel well represented by.
So are all of you educators in addition to being your own independent artists and vocalists and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are.
Wow.
So,
how is it that you guys found your way to one another? Because you said you kind of, commingled in circles, professional circles and things like that. But how did you guys decide to come together as Sage?
Right. Well, I mean, like you said, we all kind of knew each other from various vocal circles before. But I knew Erin actually through Acapella Academy, where we both teach every summer, more or less. It's in a summer intensive for teens. That's just like really amazing. Kids from all over the world audition and come together
to form these different a cappella groups. And Aaron and I both write for and direct groups at that camp. And Sarah knew Aaron through the LA jazz scene. Sarah came out to a jazz festival that my former vocal jazz group hosts every fall, and she was our guest solo artist there. And she asked after the gig if I would be interested in maybe joining a female vocal jazz group or starting a female vocal jazz group. And I said, heck yes, especially if we can get our friend Aaron in on this. And then we just needed another voice in there and another person in there. And Sarah suggested her friend Shanae, incredible artist Shanae, and that was the missing piece for sure.
Wow, the blend that you have, I mean, seriously, it sounds like you guys are a match made in heaven. Like, I mean, the purity that's there, I don't think is captured in any other vocal group that I've heard today. And so just the tenderness and all of, and even the lyrics for Desert Song are just so striking. Let's talk about that a little bit, because the lyrics of Desert Song have such a deep meaning, especially for women.
Yeah, I mean, I remember sitting in the pool and just thinking, like, as a jazz musician who came up through collegiate jazz programs and now work in collegiate jazz programs, you look around and it's a sea of incredibly talented men, and we often don't see ourselves reflected on the bandstand or in collaborations. And so it was, like I said earlier, just kind of not realizing that it was something that I needed. And after 2 days of drinking and talking and cooking and laughing and listening to music and sharing stories, and then sitting and just feeling in awe of the talent and the drive and the musicianship of these women, looked out onto the desert landscape and just thought, like, who knew that this was what I'd been searching for, for years, that I'd been looking for this comfort and this freedom and this empowerment and this willingness to go to that vulnerable place, as you mentioned, Kiana.
Yeah.
And so I think I brought like a nugget of I was like in the pool. I remember being in like a floaty and being like, what if? And yeah. But then it was like such an organic moment of like, I remember Erin sitting there with her ukulele, just kind of like strumming that first little passage. And Janae quietly to herself just went like, da, 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 da. And like kind of like didn't want to share it with the group. But then it just kind of birthed and kept going. And we just were looking for ways to speak to the realization that, like, even in our young 20s, we wanted the approval of men musically and non-musically. And that ultimately, now that we're older, we can look back on those experiences and say, like, that's what I was trying for. But now I can realize that the strength that I thought I was seeking in the ocean actually is in this other space.
So the symbolism there it's just such a double entendre, it seems, the entire song. How is it that you all sort of infuse your own life experience into the lyrics of Desert Song? You can all speak from a personal place. If there was a specific portion of the lyrics that you contributed to, how did you come to that?
Well, I think when we got on our way, we had such a clear, it was just something that we all immediately related to and were able to, I think for me personally, the most incredible part was just realizing that the space was sacred. And that was the moment in which we were able to acknowledge. I had never written with anyone before, and I was incredibly frightened at the thought, which is why I was like, I think I have something, but I don't know how this works. What am I supposed to do? Like threw it and ran away. And then as we kind of sat with the melody, we had this very clear concept. And then it almost, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but it felt almost like a form of therapy. We were kind of just releasing thoughts and trying to connect them in a way, utilizing the imagery, but also using our experiences. And for me, in that very moment, like there was this revelation that was happening. Like okay, this is the idea, but it's really, no, this right here, this is the idea, you know? And when we went into that space, we were just testing the waters and checking things out to see if it would work. And I think that was a moment where everything just kind of came, and we were so authentically ourselves and giving of ourselves and like feeling safe in that space. So I can't really pinpoint how all the lines flowed, but I just know that we were all very openly offering of ourselves in that moment.
So my question is, if you guys were in water at the time, how did you notate the lyrics? Did somebody have their phone? Did you record it? Like,
I think we were recording. Like I didn't have my ukulele in the water. Thank goodness. She's still intact and like she's still tunable. But I think I was like sitting there. I think Sarah, like we were just like sitting there, and I think we had fleshed out like a full verse or two and the kind of chorusy bridge, and just kind of kept singing over and over. And then I think the next day or two, we were like, okay, let's like not forget how this goes and let's write it down.
Well, I think I was writing because I'm like okay, write it down right now. So I had my laptop. We were over on Pagoda, and I'm like typing it out. And I made the joke because y'all didn't know like if I could actually. I was like, oh, I'll write it down. It's fine. And I'm like typing furiously. And I was like, guys, how funny would it be if I just showed you the screen and there was nothing on it?
Yeah, we had no idea.
that's hilarious.
But I was just thinking about this because I after Kiana's question, like I don't remember a specific like, and that's when Bill said, and this line is for Jeff, you know, it's not like, it's like a cloud of life and then this realization. And so it wasn't a moment, but I do remember after we wrote it that we were like, was that good? Like, was this good? I think this was really a beautiful song. I think I love that song. It's good. I think but we had that artistic moment of like, it's just our first song, but it's our baby and we love it. But it was so hard to know, like, is this going to be a hit? Is this going to be something the rest of the world responds to? Is this going to be something that we want to sing again? It really was just kind of a trial in what does it feel like to be these four women writing together, literally for the first time on day 2 of meeting each other in the same space.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've said this so many times individually that we just want to be in the same room together again so that we can write. And we've done some long distance writing and collaborations, and, you know, I think arranged like 6 or 7 songs in quarantine and written 2 other original compositions. And just to have eaten a meal together and share a glass of wine and be able to have a song concept come out of a collaborative universal experience that we all organically come to is something that I'm really, really looking forward to being in the same space with these women again for that reason, among many others.
Yeah. It's interesting because out of this really just like seeing chill, organic, just natural experience came this song that you guys ended up being nominated for a Grammy for. My goodness. I want to play the reaction video now. Is that cool?
Sure, yes.
This is so much fun.
Oh, it's Imogen.
How's everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, how are you?
good. Really good.
Oh my God, my heart just.
Gerald! You guys.
Oh,
Yay!
Ooh,
Here we go. Somi! Yay!
Wow.
She's wonderful. Oh, Kenny Washington.
Kenny Washington.
Represent.
Ambrose!
Yay! Oh my God, Tara. Oh my God.
Gerald! Are we close? This is going too fast. I'm not ready.
Oh, John Beasley.
Kate got one.
Oh, Kate and Theo.
Yes,
Theo's
Kate.
on that
Yeah.
too.
And our friends got so
year
many
one.
nominations, you
I'm
guys.
so excited for them. Oh my gosh, we're getting close. This
Category
oh my God.
is Best
It's next.
Arrangement Instrument, Donna
Oh,
Lee.
John
cool.
Beasley.
Nice.
Good.
Honeymoon.
Heart in my chest, guys.
Cool.
Heart
Lift
in my
every
chest.
voice
For real.
and sing.
Alvin Che.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's my friend
Uranus.
Janet.
And the last category is
Oh, you
Best
guys.
Arrangement Instruments and
you guys.
Vocals.
Love you guys.
And the nominees
guys.
are
I love you guys.
Asas Pechadas.
Yeah.
Desert
Oh my
Song
God!
from this place. He Won't Hold You. slow burn. I want to thank the Recording Academy for inviting me to be part of this amazing and exciting celebration.
We'll call and tell you that Sage is nominated for it. Oh my gosh! Wait, who got nominated? What just happened? What just happened? Guys! What just happened?
I can't believe that. Just got nominated for a Grammy.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I don't think I've ever been this surprised about anything in my life. What is happening right now?
I'm literally in shock. I don't know what to do.
That was the first song that we ever wrote together. Like our baby song just got nominated for Grammy.
Oh my God.
Guys, I'm out of my body right now. I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yay! Oh my God. I was just as excited as you all were.
Every time. Like 30 times, and every time I'm like,
Every time. Oh my God, you guys, we got nominated for a Grammy.
But the thing is, you guys are the first women to be nominated for this category. How exciting is that?
All women, yeah.
All women, and first all women group. Man, you guys are making history. I mean, today just seems to be all about, breaking glass, it seems.
Yeah. Well, and I would also add, like, this category is also very white. And so for Janae also to be a Black woman in this category is huge. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how does it feel to be, blazing trails in this way? Is there pressure now? Are you wondering, like, what's next? What if we win? If we win, then what then? What's going through your head?
In my mind, I will say that we're going to keep operating just in the way we got here. We weren't thinking about the Grammys when we wrote that song. We were thinking about telling a story and honestly connecting women and putting love into the universe. And I think that that's what allows us to thrive. And I think that that will continue to be the focus. And then everything that happens outside of that space is beautiful, but it's not what fuels us.
I see. I understand that. Now,
I would say that, like, now that we've been, I'll just say really quickly that, like,
go ahead.
The driving factor in the art that we've created in the pandemic has, similarly to Desert Song, like, I feel like we've sort of found our artistic voice in just kind of sharing things with our fans and our patrons over at Patreon, that, like, it feels weird to make art without a purpose. And I think that has been a charge that really organically and without even making a concrete decision has guided us through the songs that we have chosen to arrange, and the way in which we have layered different things on top of them, or videos that we put out, or anything that we do arrangement wise, really is like for the sake of adding and contributing to the healing of humanity. So when we were first picking songs, it was just kind of like, I like this song, or I like this artist, or maybe we could collaborate with that person someday. But now it really does feel like, it feels like Sage has made an energetic choice without stating it in words of choosing to create art for the purpose of actual art.
You made a good point about making music with a purpose. On the flip side of that, have you all individually ever felt pressure to create music just for other reasons? There may be money, or any other reason that might not align with who you are as a woman, as an artist, all of that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't put anything out as a solo artist yet, and I hope that I will be able to do it the way that I want when I have a record that I'm working on. But just in general in the music industry, you have to cater to a lot. And it kind of takes a while to realize, to like see a trend and realize like, oh, this is a trend and I'm the only person that can decide to step out of it.
Mhm.
And then that's the choice. Yeah.
Trends do seem like pressure a lot of times. You know, if you don't feel like you fit into the status quo, or you might be pressured as an artist to go with the flow, to go with that thing that is, you know, what's new and what's now. So to stick to you guys is, you know, your morals and all that and everything inside of you, and that purpose that you said drives you is really commendable.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you guys and where you guys are headed. I can't wait to see what's next. I know before quarantine and COVID and all of that, you guys were off to a great start. You were touring and, you know, doing shows and things like that. So I know things have really been so different for you guys.
Yeah.
Tell me about life pre-COVID for Sage.
Well, we had our debut in January at the Gen Conference, which when we first applied was like thrilling and exciting. And then the closer we got, we were like, wait, our first performance when we actually get on stage and sing these songs for the first time with each other, for the first time, is going to be in front of 1,400 people, most of which who are like our colleagues, esteemed colleagues, incredible musicians, like some of our favorite musicians and educators. And so I remember very little from that performance except coming back to the hotel room and then just sobbing.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember like walking to the like, that was so intense. What did we just do? Was that good? I don't know. But you know, shortly thereafter, we had a bunch of like 4 or 5 different things all over the US. And that was even before we had performed at the Gen Conference. We had been booked for a couple of things just based on some of a few, like 2 or 3 arrangement demos that we had. And then the residency that we had in Los Angeles allowed us to record 4 videos and songs, one of which is Desert Song that we just saw. And then we're able to share that on Spotify. And a photo shoot. We did have a photo shoot that day. And so it was sort of like that 1 week. It was like February 28th or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And COVID was like starting to be a thing, you know,
Yeah.
like people were kind of talking about it. And then we had a show on the 7th of March that was at a jazz festival, and the festival was canceled, but the performances still happened because it was nobody knew what was happening. And so they kind of went forward with that. But we had 2 performances at other jazz festivals that were canceled and rescheduled.
Wow.
And yeah, but you know, I mean, I don't know, we've never talked about this, but I sort of wonder what would have happened if we had just kind of hit the ground running, if we would have had the opportunity to take a breath and inhale and explore things in an organic way and have the time to be meeting once a week and arranging 2 songs a month and sharing them with fans and saying like, how do we feel about this? And what song should we do next? And I just think that without that concentrated period of time, I don't actually know that we would have come to what we've come to the last 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I totally
We have
agree.
a few questions. Well, one question here from Leroy Lindsay. He says, how have you all maintained a group connection while balancing individual careers in the quarantine? I think you guys kind of answered that here and there.
I don't think again, because of quarantine, we haven't really had to deal with that yet. But we also are huge fans of each other individually. So I think, I mean, I don't anticipate it being any sort of like intense thing. I think it'll be like, oh, this person, we know that this person has this solo thing planned, so Sage will plan around it and vice versa. Like we'll kind of, you know, we just support each other so deeply in what we each do that I don't anticipate that being an issue, but we haven't had to deal with it yet. So we'll see.
Well, and also if I'm being honest, I haven't wanted to do anything. I've really struggled through the pandemic and haven't been generating work of my own. And Sage has been the thing that we kind of lift each other up. And we've kind of kept each other creating, and we're creating for this thing. And I feel responsible to my sisters. I have to get this done, even though like all I want to do is be on the sofa eating ice cream and crying about I don't know what.
I know.
I mean, so I feel like we have been able to take the time and kind of pool our energy together to have something that we can present at a time when, left to my own devices, I would not be doing anything at all. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, besides my teaching, that's all I'd have the energy for. But there's so much love and beauty in it, what it is that we're doing. And I do love it so very much. And it's like the thing I want to do.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just leaning into that, I would say.
Oh my God. Thank you for your honesty. You're not the only one. You really aren't. Sometimes it is a struggle to find the motivation within yourself to just do. You got to just move and keep moving forward. But in quarantine, it's difficult sometimes. It just really is hard. You feel like you're scrounging for any little bit of energy you can find.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have to realize that there isn't always shame in that. I honestly feel like this whole quarantine situation is ordained by the universe in a way. I think everybody needed to slow down.
Yeah.
Get inside of yourself, pay attention to your emotions and your spiritual well-being and all of that. And so that we can come out on the other side, even more creative and vibrant and all of that. And you guys mentioned, maintaining that sisterhood, which I think is so important.
Yeah. Agreed 1,000,000%. I think there were so many lessons to be learned over the past 11 months.
Yeah.
Whew. Painfully so, but
that you guys have learned, even, if it has to do with taking better care of you, making sure you have that self-care time. What are some of the things you guys have taken away? Because who knows how long this is going to last? What are you guys learning, or have you learned, or, are still learning in this process?
I would say, I'm talking a lot, y'all, sorry.
No, please, Renee.
Self-care is a big one, and grace is a huge one, and boundaries are the mother of all lessons right now, and how to say no, thank you, but maybe next time. And
That's a word. That is a word.
and yes, absolutely, but I need to be compensated for my time.
Hello.
We're learning. And it's so great because these are conversations that we need to have amongst ourselves for our personal things, but also for what it is that we're doing. And it's so great to have a chat where I can go, hey, this is what's being offered to me for this thing. What do y'all think? Because I feel like this, and like kind of checking in and getting the cosign that, no, absolutely not. This is not what we do, so we're kind of just learning about that. And then also like time management, but also grace. That's the big one. I say that to my students all day, every day, and my children. Grace is where it's at,
Yeah, you got to give yourself that grace for sure. Be forgiving. Don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes you need to chill. Just chill,
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me about where we can find you, first of all, individually, and also as Sage, as a group. I know the Grammys, by the way, I should mention, are postponed now until March. But, up until that point, how can we find out more about you guys individually and as a group?
I think the best way probably is through our website, because the website has information on everybody and links to everybody's pages and everything. So it's just sajevoices.com. And that has lots of good information about us as a group, but also can kind of help people find how to gather information on the rest of people as individuals. But in terms of like music and stuff, both Janae and I have stuff on and kind of anywhere where you can stream it. Aaron actually just had a project that was released with one of the members of Moonchild that was a collaboration with Amber Navrin that's on Spotify. All of Amanda's arrangements are up on her Wicked Pigeon Music website. And so we're all over. We're all over.
Yeah. I think the best way to get to know us as a group is probably through our Patreon, which if people don't know what Patreon is, it's this great platform where you can support artists directly. And we post so much stuff on there. And that's been a great way to like have relationships with the people that support us. So we're sending everyone postcards this month. Like we do all this fun stuff over there.
Sticker postcards. There's you can get the like Sage logo that Cecile McLaurin-Salvant designed for us.
She did. She is so
She did.
She's incredible.
She's so talented. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and like we share things there always first, but sometimes only exclusively there. So people have heard our most recent arrangement was like a Bad Plus cover, the Bad Plus and Joshua Redman CD. Their song As This Moment Slips Away, that like I'm sure won't be shared with the world until the album comes out, if it makes it on the record. And then I think like maybe this week we're going to be sharing a brand new music video that we just made.
Nice.
That everybody kind of ugly cried through once we debuted it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Erin's right. And the best way to like actually get to know us and have like one-on-one interactions and connections as individuals. That's been a beautiful way to stay connected to the source of inspiration through the pandemic when we're so separated from people, but also from the energy that we get in performing live.
Right. Not to give too much away, but how did you shoot a video in quarantine? Just curious.
Well,
we have iPhones.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, there was a strong vision before we recorded. So there's some light and some dark selfie footage, and then it's interwoven with found footage.
Oh, I love that idea. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, Sage, Sarah Gazarek, Erin Bentledge, Janae Kendrick, Amanda Taylor. You ladies are incredible. And what a time to be alive as a woman in this industry. I'm really elated that you guys joined me on this day, because this is a historic day, you know?
Yes, that's right.
Vice President, and you guys are continually breaking ceilings just like that. So congratulations to you guys on your Grammy nomination. Best Arrangement, Instrumental and Vocals, first female group to be nominated in that category. You guys are on your way. You're on your way to the moon and beyond. I can already feel it.
Thank you, Kiana. I think I speak for everybody when I say that we're really honored to have the opportunity to chat with you. We're all really big fans of what you do and the space that you all have cultivated at WBGO. It's an honor to be here. So thank you for having us.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys stay safe. And
thank you.
In parting, I'd like to play Desert Song one more time just because it's a gorgeous jam. So
great.
They are. Once again, thank you, ladies.
Bye, Kiana. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I bet when you see the ocean, you're drawn to the strength inside the waves. But if you get caught within the ocean, the undertow will have you lose your way. I bet when you reach the ocean, can't wait to sink your toes into the sand. Instead you will sink into the ocean and watch your heart move slowly from your hands. Oh, she's calling, calling. She's calling, calling. She's calling, calling. She's calling. Someday you will reach the desert, held by the warmth within the skies. Breathe in the exhale of the desert and see yourself reflected in her eyes. The moment you reach the desert, you realize she's been singing a song of life and love. She's been singing a song to your supplies. You're singing with the desert. You've always known the words to sing along. You have a voice, you have a voice, you have a voice. You're coming home where you belong. She's calling. She's calling. Oh, she's calling. She's calling. She's calling, calling. She's calling.